It's the fastest hour in radio. It's the Ron and Fez show. And still to come, someone tonight will win a trip for two to Las Vegas from the Discovery Channel.
I can't wait for that, Fez. You were playing a little poker in here tonight. Last night, I enjoyed the celebrity poker. I don't know what that runs on. I guess it's Bravo?
Yeah, I think Bravo has it, yep.
And John Favreau, the filmmaker who also does Dinner for Five on IFC, he was taking it very seriously. He loses and then doesn't hang around in the loser's lounge to the end of the show. And I'm like, don't act like you had something else to do, because if you were winning, you wouldn't have got up and walked away and said, oh, I have a very big, important Vince Vaughn call I have to take.
All right, now his only work involves shows where he sits around a table.
You know what's funny about him? As he's playing this show, he wasn't, like, really fun and bringing up stories. He was just totally locked into poker and was getting his teeth kicked in by the girl. She used to be on news radio, and now she's on, like, one of the hospital shows.
Oh, okay. I know who you mean, but I don't know her name.
Yeah,
she's like the main girl. She's like the girlfriend.
And she's oddly hot for some reason. She was a great poker player. We'll bring that up tonight. We'll figure out which one of these poker shows is worth watching. But anyway, we'll be doing radio poker tonight, Fezzy, and there's nothing more exciting than radio poker, giving away a trip to Viva Las Vegas.
Opening at the box office this weekend, you got films including The Notebook, which looks just awful. That is one, if given the choice of seeing it in the theater, on DVD, on cable, or in hell.
Is there any place lower than hell that I could pick? Because even if I'm in hell burning, I don't want to ruin that experience by watching an elderly chick flick. You know, if a chick flick isn't bad enough, but then when the chick is 85, it's really hurting me.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, we see the young love, and then it turns out, oh, he's really James Garner. James Garner's talking about himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm guessing, but that's what it looks like.
I didn't know all that. Now maybe I want to go. I had no idea it was them. I thought he was just reading her a notebook. No, I'll see that one in hell, I'm sure.
All right, White Chicks is also opening this weekend, starring Venus and Serena Williams.
That's mean. Don't you think?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Wayans brothers.
I mean, you know what? You're also going to get this.
White people are so scared of black people.
All because you agree with... I know, Fezzy, I know you think I'd say in hell. I'll watch that one on cable. When it gets to cable, I'm ready to watch a bad comedy.
All right, with this White Chicks, I've seen 3 online reviews where it's actually... White Chicks, funnier than it looks. White Chicks, not so bad. White Chicks, better than you think.
Now, these online reviews, are they guys named Punchy108, or are you getting them from real critics?
I'm getting them from real websites like CNN.com.
All right, maybe it's got a little something there. I can't wait till next year for cable.
I can't imagine. The makeup looks so awful in this thing. It's one thing to go into a movie and suspend reality and pretend, yes, we're in the middle of an ice age again. But this thing is beyond trying to believe it.
Face it, it offends you. That's it is. As a white supremacist, this offends you. You went to Soul Man, you laughed, you high-fived, you thought that was terrific. All right, Fezzy, Fahrenheit 9/11 came out last night, and our own Fez Watley has seen it not once, but twice in the last 16 hours. So I take it the movie grabbed you if you felt you needed to see it twice.
It definitely grabbed me. I thought I got so much information seeing it the first time that I had to go see it again to try to make sense out of some of it.
Even though you've read so much about this, I mean, this has been in the news for the last 3-4 months, you still felt like there's so much happening here, I've got to go back and see it again.
Yeah, especially towards the beginning of the film where they set up the Bin Laden, Saudi royal family, Bush family connection.
Yeah.
And how it is so unbelievably intertwined. You know what? If with the connections that George W., never mind his father, has with the Taliban, has with the Saudi royal family, and the Bin Laden family, according to this film, that, you know what? I'm surprised anyone said... you can run for president. It looks like so many skeletons in a closet, like Gary Hart. You know, he had monkey business, the boat, and the girl. And then don't run.
Yeah, that's a girlfriend, so you can't run. Here, these things, if what Michael Moore is saying is true, seem to be so much larger than whatever happened with Monica and Gary Hart and...
And it's just insane, some of the connections that are made. The new president in Afghanistan that we put in there was like a part of a company that George Sr. was running, and that was financed by the Saudis. And it's just all over and over again. They're like just feeding on themselves.
So where is our media, if any of this stuff is true? Why is our media not running any of these stories? Where's the big TV networks? Where's the newspapers? I mean, remember, these are the same guys that drug down Richard Nixon. They could do it if they wanted to.
Yeah, and it's not that hard because everything in this film is so blatant and obvious and arrogant about it. And Michael Moore does this thing about Bush's National Guard records.
Yeah.
Trust me, Michael Moore is not Sherlock Holmes, where he's the world's greatest detective and investigative reporter and is the only one that can dig up this stuff. There's no reason why some of these things shouldn't have shown up in the regular media.
You're a lifelong Republican, right?
Yes, sir.
Not a good one, but a Republican.
I'm good.
Is this a must-see? Is this definitely a must-see? Should everybody go see this, or is this just for some people's points of view?
You know what? I don't. If you're on the fence, it's must-see. If you've already got your mind made up which way you're voting in this election, don't bother, because I don't think it's going to change anyone who, really supports W or really hates W at this point. But if you really have a doubt in your mind, go see this. That's the person it's a must-see for.
All right, now let me ask you this. Is George W. Bush, is he closer to Ronald Reagan or the Antichrist? Which one would you say, if it was a 50-50, which side would he be on?
He's the Antichrist superstar.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's Marilyn Manson. That's Marilyn Manson's zone.
He is the spawn.
Wow.
And it's amazing how this thing just kept going. Generation of Saudis and generations of Bin Ladens and generation of Bushes.
Anything else kind of surprised you? Anything else that hopped out there?
A lot of things that surprised me were just things that I had forgotten about. So I guess not that it's so much a surprise, but just that you're reminded about. They showed Colin Powell at the UN giving that speech of we have to go into Iraq, and I completely forgot that this man actually held up digital satellite photos showing where the weapons of mass destruction were located, and they were all over the map. And here's the chemical factories, and here's where they make these bombs, and here's where they make these agents.
And remember, he did a terrific job at that. That's why when people are talking about Colin Powell, I'm thinking now, unless something turns around, history is going to be very, very tough on him, because he almost convinced the American public more than anybody else. The American public has so much respect for this man that when he stood up and talked, Republicans and Democrats were turned around.
Yeah, one thing, a surprise in it, something I didn't know, was there's a Taliban George W. Bush connection. Besides Osama, besides the Saudis, there's actually a Taliban connection, too.
All right, well, I guess we'll get to this a little later on. Plus, later, I guess Monday or Tuesday, we have the guy that we gave tickets to, the right-wing guy, that's going to do a point-counterpoint with you. But I'm glad you took your homework well and you went twice this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure exactly what all I was seeing so I could talk about it. It got really confusing for me.
Were you still eating popcorn?
Yeah, I ate popcorn at both times, and the second time I had a bunch of crunch.
It's odd. I wouldn't be able to do that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and pick this up. You're listening to the Ron and Fez Show.